What's going on out there, good people? It is your boy Look Around with LMD Trading, and we are back. We are back at it again, taking trades and now reviewing them. Today, we started the month off flat. The market today was an interesting start. Even in the pre-market section, couldn't really find any solid ideas. There was one particular stock, Uber, that I did like pre-market. I actually traded that pre-market in my cash account and ended up taking a trade in the main account once the market opened. The pre-market or the cash account was a pre-market trade. And then I did take a trade once the market opened in the main account. As you can see scrolling across, we took a full stop on that bad boy. And just didn't really see too much moving in the market today. So let's go ahead. Let's pull up the thumbnail watch list, see what we were watching today. And then we'll pull up TRADERVUE, and we're going to review these in thinkorswim today. But this is what we were looking at, just to kind of give you an idea of what the charts were looking like today. Just a chop fest. Nothing really in a solid trend. We had GDS on the list to go long. That thing gave a nice downtrend. We were done about 10:30, so would have missed all of this over here. PDD, if you notice, just about everything that was gapping above previous high of day, the green line on my chart, kind of flushed, came back down. NVDA, the biggest, it just flushed. And like I said, that previous high of day and low of day, I don't think I'd want to trade with that not on my charts nowadays. You could just see how the markets respect those areas. If you look down on the red ones, that's previous low of day. Just respects it. And then that was the market. The market, look at that. The market gapped way above previous high of day, flushed all the way down to previous low of day, tested the 50 moving, and then flushed back down. And then it just bounced around previous low of day the rest of the morning and could never break above it and reclaim it. And that is what the market looked like today. Just ugly. So let's go ahead. Let's bring up TRADERVUE. Reviewing trades for Tuesday, November 1st. Took 6 trades today. Closed P&L $5.29. So what we traded. NVDA. Made 10 bucks. CVNA, thought this was going to be a good trade. Only made 2 bucks. Uber, full stop on that thing. We traded GT. I think that's Goodyear tires. Only good trade. And it just would not break the area. I was hoping to get 2R out of this trade. Maxed unrealized was 77. That might have been as low as it went to. Ended up locking in 1R. Took that 1R and I was happy with that. LC or LRCX. Small red trade there. And then this one we took late in the morning. Small share size. And just made a couple of bucks on it. And I was done. The market was not really showing anything of interest. So just went it on, buttoned it up, called it a day. But let's go ahead. Let's bring up thinkorswim. We'll get these trades reviewed and we will be on our way. There we go. I did record today, but I really didn't see anything worth going through. Maybe Goodyear, but that just would have showed how slow it grinded down and how it got to a certain area on the chart and it wouldn't break it. We'll see that when we go to review the trade. So let's go ahead. Let's get reviewing. And this is the SPY. Look at what the SPY did. This gives you the bigger picture as opposed to how it was all scrunched on the thumbnail. Excuse me, scrunched on the thumbnail watch list. But look at how this thing was respecting these areas that we had marked on the chart. So right there, just totally respecting it. Give me 1 sec. Let me turn my highlighter on. There we go. So respecting it right there. Came down the previous high of day. Couldn't get back above it. You see how it fought? The buyers just fought to get above it. Couldn't. Flush down. Now the buyers are trying to keep it from breaking previous low of day. They did a good job until right there. Sellers got back in control and it just kind of just chopped around the rest of the day. But let's go ahead. Let's get reviewing these trades. NVDA was the first trade of the morning. And let me click that right there. NVDA was first trade of the morning. We took this one at 9:35 and we were in this thing for all of less than 30 seconds. And so I don't understand that. Sometimes it will put the show orders and then sometimes it won't. So let's take a peek at this one. We got in this one at 138.76. So getting in basically off of this 1 minute chart as it's breaking above previous high of day. I can already shake my head at this trade. If you watch my videos any amount of time, you probably gonna know what I'm gonna say. Previous high of day. I want to see a break, a retest, and then a go. So this one is just breaking previous high of day. When it didn't go, I got out of it. Got out at 139.25. At the top, basically brought my target down and got out of the trade. Good exit. Dang good exit. Because you see, that was the high of the day. This thing just chopped around the rest of the morning. That was the low of the day. That's the range. $4 range, so a pretty good range. But you setting the high at 9:35. You setting the low at 10 o'clock. That tells you how the day was. NVDA just chopped within that range all day. So that was first trade out the blocks. Again, not a good entry. Not a good entry when I know myself that I want to see a break and a retest. If you do look, you don't see anything out to the left pre-market. So it should have kept going. And when it didn't, and when it just broke this candle here and then started back down, nope. Now I would have stayed in this trade if it would have broke this area and came up like this and then came back down and used this area as support. But nah, when that didn't push up, I'm like, nope, let's just get out of that trade. So good trade right there. Good trade. Let's look at our second trade. CVNA, Carvana. I found this one on the previous high of day scanner. And I found it at 9:37. So 7 minutes into the market, my thumbnail watch list was showing nothing. So I'm already looking at the previous high of day scanner. We got in this one at 1572. So basically, as it is breaking the high of this candle here, this line right here was not on the chart when I took this trade. That line right there was not on the chart. Probably would not have taken this trade with it just breaking that line with this chart looking like it does. Let's look at a 2 minute real quick. Yeah, we're not getting a 1 or 2 minute 3-bar play. Definitely no reason to be that aggressive when it's coming up to this area. I dropped this line on the chart well after I had took this trade. I was out of this trade, and me and Evan were both talking about this trade. And let me look, because I think this did have, I don't know why I thought this was the one that had like a little, oh, I think that's what it was. Evan took this one off of a different pattern. I got in a little early. Let me see. Is it on the 2? There we go. So Evan took this off of a 2 minute, like a pseudo 4-bar play. Pseudo 4-bar play. You got your wide range, and then you got these 3 little resting candles. He got in right there. I want to say it was another line up here. Yep, right there. These 2 lines we found on the 12-hour chart after we had already took the trade and the trade had failed. So that's the one thing with finding those ideas on the previous high of day, is that once I find one, I need to go back and look at those higher time frames. Now, the thing with these areas, I would have been able to see those on the 30-minute chart. So usually when I'm trading, 2 minute, 5, 10. 10 is normally right here where it's covered. And then right here is normally the 1 minute early on, and then a 30-minute. But the 30-minute, I would have seen these areas on the chart. But because it was set to a 1 minute chart, didn't quite see them. So what I'll probably do is my 10-minute chart that sits up here, I'm going to stretch that out a few more days, and then I'll be able to see those areas on the 10-minute chart to see if I'm going to have some junk out to the left. But stopped out of this one. Let's see, 1575, basically getting out flat. Basically making a couple of pennies, made $2.25 on the trade as this was coming back down. Not knowing that these areas were playing on the chart. The trade didn't look like it was going to work. Took my stop to break even. I took the break even stop out. So that was our second trade. So we're starting off kind of sluggish. Third trade, Uber. Man. Uber kind of was a Uber. And Uber treated me right in Vegas this past week. One thing that was crazy, when I was in the air, I pulled up Uber on my phone, and it gave me one rate. And actually, I wasn't in the air. I was on the plane on the tarmac taxiing in. It was like $20 to go to the hotel I was going to stay at. From NPR.org. But the tarmac rule, what the heck is Alexa talking about? But yeah, so Uber was like $20 to the hotel. By the time I got off the plane and walked through the tarmac, that same ride was $50. It's like, man, that is crazy. But that's Uber for you. So let's see, 3084 is where we got in at. So getting in as it's breaking that area. Not the best entry. Again, you see me dropping this line. I dropped this line on the chart right here after the trade. So got in right there, ended up stopping out of this thing, what, about 4 or 5 minutes later, 30:45, as this came back down and tagged us. So not a good trade. Not a good trade. Let's look. 10-minute was looking decent until it failed. Was looking decent until it failed. Let's look at it on the 1 minute. Let's see if the 1 minute was showing maybe a halfway decent. No, buying high, the break of the high of the morning. That's another one of those that a few months ago, I would take these all the time and get blazed, just like I got blazed on this one. This is another one that I want to see this break it, come back down, and retest and hold that area. Don't just buy it because it broke that area. So I deserved to get blazed on this one. I deserved it. And then I put the stop down, trying to give it a little extra room to work. It just did not. It just didn't work at all. But let's look at GT, because GT definitely worked. GT, we got in this one at 1108. So actually gave this one a little room, getting in kind of late. What's the low of that candle? Low is 1112. So we're about 4 cents late on that. So we're giving up about $10. We've missed $10 of the move by getting in right there. We do see this line right here. So we know that we're going to catch a little resistance. You got this tail off to the left, and we got the line on the chart. I dropped this line after I was in the trade. And now I'm like, okay, I'm buying right in, or I'm selling, shorting, right into this area of support. So now I'm watching it. And I'm like, oh, man. So I'm in right here. I gave this good room on the top side. It's kind of rolled back over, act like it was going to stop me out. And then it finally came back down, flirted right here where I got in at, and it finally broke. The market kind of moved right when that did that. Made this nice move down. And you see I had dropped this line right here. It came right there. My target on this trade was 1068. That was my target. We come over here, look at the low of the day. It never did get down there to even my target way out of here. See, I stopped out over here. Let me put that on there. 1085. I basically went to a 2-minute bar by bar and just left it up here where I was up basically 1 R. So you see GT is like, what, the third from the bottom stock. I had already stopped out of this trade. So I kind of knew what my P&L was for the day. Kind of knew I was down a little over 1 R. So in GT, I locked in basically enough to where if it came back, stopped me out, I wouldn't be stopping out red on the day. That is how that played out. So this thing curled, came back up, stopped me out, made what, 55.81 on the trade, and that was it. But in the meantime, while that one was still kind of playing out, we had got into LRCX. This was a small position trade, and this was a ugly chart that should not have been traded. Let's see where we got in on this. We got in 413.05. Right there. This one here, I was just playing this back up to this tail. I was trying to get 1 R out of this trade. See, I only had 5 shares. 5 shares, just trying to get it pushed back up. Let's see. So we got in at 410. The top of that candle was 414. So basically trying to make 20 bucks on that push back up. Didn't work. It failed. We stopped out 410.01. Giving this thing all kinds of room to the bottom. Let's just call it 410. Just on the other side of previous high of day. Again, this is one of those ones. You want to see this, break it, come back down and retest it and go. You want to see a perfect example? Just look to the right. This came down, it failed. Came back up, it broke it. It retested it. And then it went. Once it breaks this area right here, this is going to be a good trade. because we're getting the retest to go higher. But without a retest over here, this thing can still go down. And that's what we did. Even though this was just trying to get a quick pop, just a quick scalp back up to, at that time, high of day. So took a small loss on that one. And then this last trade, HOLX, I don't even think I have this one on. Yeah, I don't even have that one on the watch list. This is one, again, that I found while just kind of searching, looking for some trades. Let's take a peek at it. We got in this one at 73.75. We'll drop it right there. Again, we got an area clearly marked. I found this area on the chart, so it's clearly marked. This thing just came up. Let's bring this over. Came up. Again, if this is going to break, I want to see it come up and then use this area as support. Don't just buy it because it's breaking. This is one of those ones where I just scratch my head because I say, look around, you know better. You know better. And as they say, when you know better, you do better. I didn't do better, even though I knew better. So this one, peekabooed over, doing what it do. Let's go ahead, peekaboo, and catch these people. Me being one of them. Rolled right over. The good thing was I got out, and I got out 3 cents more than what I had paid for it on 50 shares. So what's that? $1.50. When this didn't push and keep going higher, I knew the move was done. Knew it was done. Cut bait and run. That was the thought. Cut bait and run. You're going to finish green to start the month off. Let's wrap it up like that. And that is what we did, y'all. That is what we did. So hope y'all enjoyed it. Let's take a peek at something real quick. I'm kind of proud of this. Let's let me go ahead and blow that up all the way. Closing the month of October out. Let's clear that. And then let's change this to October 1st. Look at that. We had one red day in October. One red day. We lost $33. We didn't make much money the rest of the month. We didn't make much money. We only had a couple of days where we actually hit our goal. My goal is to make 2R, $100 a day. We had what? 1, 2, 3, 4 days. 4 days where we hit our daily goal. Rest of them, just little small, insignificant days that were green. Show you what that did for my stats, though. Show what that did for my stats. And I'm going to do a full-blown recap here in the next couple of days because there was some data that I found while doing just a little quick overview that I think I'm going to be able to use to make some scans, to make some scanners inside of thinkorswim. But let's just look at the just simple data. We made $989 this month. Not much, not much. Look at our average winners to losers. Average losing trade. Remember, we risking $50 a trade. Average loser was $26.98. Look at our average winner. We made less per trade than we lost. Average winner was $18.18. You might say, how do you do that? Right there. My win to loss ratio was 76% this month. A lot of people will say that's good. I'm going to tell you that I'm going to beg to differ on that one. And the reason I'm going to beg to differ is this was as high as it is because I didn't let a lot of trades work that would have hit target. Some of them possibly would have stopped out. but the bulk of them would have hit target instead of me making like $20 on a trade, $15 on a trade, $30 on a trade. So my usual here, let's look at it. Let's see if there's anything else on here that I really like to show. Not really. We can come over here and look. Largest loss, 57. That's good. That's within reason. That's catching a little slippage. Largest gain, basically 3R, 150 bucks. That's decent. I can live with that. Average hold time, 8. Average losers, 8. Scratch trade. So on average, we were holding stocks about 8 minutes per trade. Let's look at something real quick. I want to go back. I'm going to just look at, let's go January 1st till today. 65. Let's see. Booyah. My average wins to losses is usually 65%. Usually 65. Come up here and look at our average loser, 37. Average winner, 37. We neck and neck. But that's, with this lower percentage, we make more money. Look over here though. That's ugly. I should never be losing that much on one trade. You can make that much all day long. And let's look at the life of, since I've been dumping data. Now, I do admit, when I first was trading, like around September, October, November last year, I was a little reckless. But the market was a little bit better. But look at the stats on this one. Average loser, 46. Average winner, 56. But look at our wins to losses, 60-40. Again, I could deal with 60-40 when the wins to losses is higher. But when you look at October, we had a 70% wins to losses, but we didn't make much money. And that's because we were not letting trades work. And again, come over here and look. Ooh, that hurts. Look at that. That's nice though. This was my most proud trade right there. Y'all will always hear me talk about it. That was DWAC. I already know what that was. That was like my most proudest trade. I bought this as a swing to hold overnight, having no clue it was going to do what it did. I bought this thing like way down here, $12 and some change. I rode this thing all the way out. I sold here, I sold there, and I bought some more to hold overnight. I held this thing, let's blow this chart up. I held this thing the next day through, I don't know how many halts going up. And then I got stuck in the halts coming back down. And then I finally sold right there. And I made $2,700 on that trade. I was happy, but I was pissed at the same time. Because I'm like, how the hell can you watch a stock go all the way up to 175 and then couldn't do nothing about it? It was nothing I could do about it. And it just halted its way back down. And then I finally got out. But best trade that I have taken to date. That was the best trade I've taken to date. But let's go ahead. Let's wrap this one up right at my 30-minute mark. I would like to shave these down, but it's kind of hard. I don't know. Kind of talk sometimes. But again, I appreciate y'all checking me out as always. If you have not already hit that like button, please do so. If you're not subscribed, please think about subscribing. And as always, we can continue the conversation in the comment section. Was actually talking to another young lady in RT's Discord. I was hanging out in his Discord this afternoon. I forgot to mention mine. If you're interested, there will be a link to my Discord in my description section. I'm usually just hanging out in a little voice chat. Me and Evan usually just sitting there talking, bouncing trades off each other's. But talking to a young lady that's getting into trading, and it was good to see that more people of my persuasion is getting into trading. So that's good. I like that. I like that. So if you're out there, you thinking about trading, I love it. She loved it. She says she loves it as well. But just know going in, this thing is not easy. There is nothing about this thing that is easy. This will probably be one of the hardest things that you will ever try to do. Short of probably going in the military, probably dealing with that. But this thing is rough. It's a mental mind game. We were discussing it, and she said that she had heard that it's 50% psychological, 50% mind. I would say it's 75. The technical side of it, I think, I tell people out in my embroidery shop, I could teach anybody how to run my embroidery machines. But it's the little technical nuances that you're going to have to take years to get. Trading, the technical side of it, anybody can learn the technical side. Anybody can look at a chart and say, okay, the last time that this thing made this pivot, let me drop a line right there. The last time it made a pivot at the bottom, let me drop a line right there. You just have defined where that trade might be, or where that stock might be trading at. But it's the mental side that is impossible. I won't say impossible because there's too many successful traders out there. But it is the most hardest thing to get, and it's the most critical thing. Once you can get over that hump, and I'm slowly, every day it's a learning process. You see today, I took quite a few trades that I shouldn't have taken. One of the mental things that you'll go through when you start trading is that desire to be right. That desire to say, okay, I took this trade and I know what I'm doing. Let me move my stop down. Let me give us a little more room because it's going to work. And then it goes a little lower. And then you say, well, I don't want to sell it here. It's going to bounce in a minute. And before you know it, instead of being down 1R, in my case, instead of being down $50, now I'm down $200. And now I'm like, let me just get out this trade. So that is the hard part about it. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wrap this one up, and we will be back at it again tomorrow. Peace.